Hello, everybody who's watching. Welcome to another episode of Becoming a Cop and Becoming a Cop. That's what we're doing.
Glad you remembered what we're doing.
Yeah, I have brain fog right now, and so as long as I remember to read stuff on the screen and then do all that stuff, I guess that's fine. How are you, Donovan?
I'm great.
Yeah, I'm great. You're gonna be on a little road trip, so I'm glad you're here.
I know I'm going to leave this hot weather and go to the Pacific Northwest where it's going to be like 50 degrees and rain.
I don't know, man. It's kind of warm today. I have a window right there, but I'm looking out the window. It's a little bit warm.
Yeah, it's 90 some here, so.
Oh, that's not that warm.
Yeah, I know.
I shall cease whining at this time. So, but, and we have a placeholder for Rob.
Rob, if you're listening, come on, buddy.
Yeah. Rob's MIA. If anybody knows where he's at,
let us know in the chat.
Let us know in the chat. Let us know where he's at and everything. We have no chats right now, so we're gonna get going here. We have part 2 of from last week. We had questions you want to ask the BI, and we're gonna go with part 2 because we didn't get finished with them. These questions are from Gemini,
Ken's best friend.
My friend and co-pilot is my best friend. Co-pilot and Gemini, and they came up. If there's any mistakes, whether Donovan or I make mistakes, it's because of AI, and that way you can get out of everything because AI makes mistakes. So if the question
you can't get out of everything because of because of AI. Come on.
Why not?
Come on, Ken.
Why not?
No.
I'm getting out of everything. Did you happen to see the lady who got pulled over for being on her cell phone?
Using your right hand.
Using her.
And she didn't have one.
Her non-existent right hand.
Yes.
And he goes, hand to God. And she goes, hand to God, there's no hand there. But
yeah. And what was it dismissed for? They said it was for a ridiculous reason.
The officer, I guess they can do this where they're from. They can call in and go, there's a lack of evidence.
Well, lack of evidence. A lack of a hand is a lack of evidence.
That's a lack of evidence, man. We have no hand. So she went to, you know what was interesting was she posted a follow-up video. Mm-hmm. I just got out of court. They dismissed it because of lack of evidence. And I'm thinking to myself, you wrote her a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
You actually wrote her a ticket because of why? And there's other people that are going, wow, she probably had, some people were saying she had just below the elbow, right? So she could hold the phone, and they were justifying all this stuff from the cop. But if I walked up and I said, hey, you're holding your phone in your right hand and there is no right hand, just take the loss, man. Take the loss. Don't.
Yep. I'm sorry. Walk away.
And walk away. You did a stupid, I missaw or something, come up with some lame excuse, but this would have never, and they haven't really named the deputy yet, which, because he would get dragged, I'm sure. But the people that were justifying, oh, she's probably lying or something like that, I'm going, it doesn't matter. She has no hand. And on video, he said, I saw you with a phone in your right hand.
Yep. He sunk at that point.
Yeah. How they're going to do that, I don't know. Let's talk about this, Donovan. We're going to start with page 4, questions. This is interesting. Number 12, digital footprint. We talk all the time about social media, but it says, do you actually look at deleted social media posts, private accounts, or old forums I used to post on as a teenager? And before Donovan gets into this, because Donovan sometimes has an opinion about social media. When I went back to LAPD backgrounds in 2006, I actually was looking at some posts from MySpace.
Yeah.
MySpace. And now that was pretty rudimentary back then for social media, but I actually got a DQ off of MySpace. But there's this question is kind of multifaceted because it says, do you look at deleted? Let's take one at a time for Donovan. Donovan, I'm interviewing you this evening. Thank you for coming to the show and being our guest.
Thank you.
Do you actually look at deleted social media posts? That's a loaded question.
Boy, yeah. I mean, if I find them, I mean, if it's out there and it's open to the public, I mean, is anything really deleted online?
It depends because
Have you ever used the Wayback Machine?
Yeah, I used to use it all the time. But you have to have it either has to be a pretty popular website,
right?
Or you have to have the link to the actual page, right?
Right.
So
I mean, deleted is a loaded question because I mean, if they delete it, but it's something so outrageous that it lives on other people's social media sites, I'm going to look at it. You know, we all can remember the I can drive 90, you can't. Well, that was a deleted social media post, but it lived on.
Oh, because people screenshotted it.
Recorded it. Yep, they recorded it and it lived on. I mean, that one was deleted, I think, within an hour of being posted, I believe.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it was quick. Someone had said, "Hey, that's a dumb post. Why did you post that?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I guess so," and they deleted it, but it lived on. So in that sense, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I'll review that deleted social media post, even if it's not on their account. If I can track it back to them, I will. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah. I mean, social media is a difficult thing because there's so many different things about it. But the deleted part, I think if you went to someone else's page or they posted something on someone else's page or it came up in a search or something like that, yeah, then it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. It's hard to find the deleted ones, though. I mean, if it doesn't live on, it's hard to find those deleted ones.
Yeah. Do you look at private accounts?
Well, we're under that sticky thing, where courts are now saying that we can't go behind any privacy walls. We can't have them log in. We can't make them share their password, anything like that. Now, what the court has not ruled on yet is what if they have an OnlyFans page or they're on Feet Finder or something like that?
Is that a real thing?
Hand of God, yes.
Feet Finder.
Hey, people have the weirdest fetishes in the world. So, but
I'd be like, if somebody posted their, do you have any accounts or you have a business? Yeah, I'm on Feet Finder, and I'd be going, okay.
The question I ask, is there a social media account that you would be embarrassed that the department would find out about? But again, like OnlyFans is behind a paid wall normally. Courts haven't ruled, can an agency pay the fee to see what's being posted? Because once you pay the fee, I don't think it becomes private material anymore. It's a membership now, so I don't know. I don't know how that would play out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but I mean, it's going to come up at some point. Or if I haven't heard any rulings on it yet, but maybe it has. But I mean, it's gonna happen. If it hasn't happened, it's gonna happen. There's someone who's gonna push the envelope.
Oh yeah. Old forums. I can think of like officer.com has forums, things like that. I don't know about any other ones. Reddit, maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of old forums out there that there's a lot of gaming forums, things that teenagers would post on. If I run across a old public forum that you post on it, you bet I'm going to look at it. I'll drag that information because again, I mean, it's all about patterns. It's all about patterns, and patterns start when you're, younger, and they continue to form. So yeah, I'd look at that.
Number 14, family background. I just got asked about this a couple
skip
days
13.
ago. Sorry, 13. Why? Oh, they're crossing down.
You changed it from last time. We were going down, but now we're going across.
I went to school in California, so I get to skip numbers and things like that. Financial security, 13. What are you looking for when you review my bank statements and financial history? Now, obviously, AI doesn't know that I don't normally review bank statements, but
no.
Credit history, credit report, depending on if they're self-employed, maybe tax returns, stuff like that. What are you looking for when you're looking at credit reports and maybe tax returns if they're self-employed?
I'm looking at the last word in the question, history. What's their history? Again, I keep going to this. It keeps going back to patterns. Are they someone who continuously abuses their credit? Are they always late on payments? Does their credit card show payments late all the time, 30, 90, however many days? Do they have anything in collections? Is there anything in foreclosure, bankruptcies? Those are all going to be things that are going to kind of make me start thinking, is this a person who needs to be in law enforcement? Because we have to remember that when we do this, there are times that an officer is going to be left alone with a lot of cash. And I can think of sometimes I was left alone with a lot of cash. And if I had financial problems, it would have been an easy way for me to take care of financial problems.
Yeah.
So we got to think that way. So that's why we're looking for those patterns. Is there anything going on with their financial history? If you have a bill that went to collections 10 years ago, you didn't know about it, you worked it out, you paid it, great, fine. But if you come in and we're looking at your credit report and you're like, oh yeah, I know I got those 3 bills in collections and I just reached out to them and I'm starting to work on figuring out what a payment plan is going to be. You're only doing that because you're sitting in my office at that point. So I'm going to be a little hesitant on being a little graceful on that. But, again, we look for those patterns though. And we look for, and it's responsibility as well. People are given credit cards at a young age. I remember when I went to college, I don't know if it's the same way, but man, my first day of college, there were credit card companies all over the place handing out applications, getting you on credit cards right away. And I mean, when you're 18 years old, if your parents didn't teach you, you didn't know what credit was. You thought you just put it on a card and it went away. But thankfully my parents taught me and I knew what it was. So I didn't fall for those games. I just signed up for the credit card and got my bobblehead and moved on.
Your bobblehead.
That was a big thing back then, was bobbleheads. I don't know.
Bobbleheads. Money's a big deal when you're applying to be a police officer because of all the bad things that cops have done corrupt wise. And the big joke, and I don't know if it's really, it's not so much of a joke. Officers will walk into the locker room and there'll be a dollar bill laying on the bench in the locker room. And that dollar bill will sit there for days and days because nobody's going to pick it up.
Yep. They're waiting for that person to jump out of the locker.
Yeah. They want to see you're going to steal that dollar bill. Number 14, financial background. Again, I got asked this question recently.
Family background. You said financial.
Oh, now I'm going back to financial. I'm telling you, my brain is not all here today.
It's all right, Ken. I got you. I'm picking you up, helping you.
Family background. Let me say this for a third time. I got asked this recently. If my family members have criminal records or are incarcerated, will their background negatively affect my application? This is a big fear for people.
And this is one I think a lot of background investigators get wrong. They use this as their like ace in the hole kind of thing. And we got to remember, we can't pick our family. we cannot choose our family. if your mom or your dad's a convicted felon, what are you supposed to do? Your brother's a convicted felon. What? You can't choose them. Now, your third cousin twice removed is a convicted felon. Now, you can get some distance from that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, immediate family, if they have a criminal record, I mean, what are you supposed to do? I don't. And I've heard some background investigators, no, we can't hire them because their dad's a felon. Well, how is that their problem? They're not actively, they didn't seek this person out. Hey, I want to be friends with you. Bring them into their family circle or their friend circle and start hanging out with them. I mean, this is someone who they were dropped in their life and they got to deal with it. So, I mean, for me, family members with a criminal record, if it's immediate family, you can't pick them. You can't pick them.
Right.
Third, fourth cousins, you can gain some distance from that. That you can say, hey, look, I can't hang out with you, but immediate family, I don't know if you have something different, but.
No, it's difficult because you don't pick your family members,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly not your parents. And a lot of times, candidates come from broken homes. Their parents are drug users, and they have felonies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the way, and you said it right, third, fourth cousins or something like that. So you have to pick and choose. Like if you say your dad's a convicted felon,
Mm-hmm.
and then you become a cop, and he can't be in the same house as you because you have a gun. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing.
Right.
The other thing is that extended family members, you have to choose depending on your proximity to the family member. You're not supposed to hang out with felons,
Right.
and so, but it's my mom, it's my dad. And a lot of times people are told, hey, we can't hire you if you're living with this person, you're going to have to move out. You're going to have to find your own place so you're not living with a felon because it's inherently a conflict of interest. You can't arrest felons and then hang out with felons. And so you've got to pick, but I don't think any background investigator is going to go, yeah, sorry, you can't hang out with your dad.
I've heard some hold the line on that one.
Yeah. And it depends on what if your dad got popped 20 years ago and
Right.
he did his time and he's been a productive member of society? Does that still count?
You have to look at the full story.
Yeah. So the answer is not a hard no, and it's not, but the general consensus is you really shouldn't be punished for your family members' crimes.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Number 15, current employment. This is a big deal. Will you contact my current employer before giving me a conditional offer? And I'm assuming the conditional offer means the final offer. I don't want them to know I'm trying to leave yet. This is a big deal. This has caused problems for candidates for decades.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those tough ones where normally, I like to say if you have a reasonable background investigator, they normally will, if you request it, push your current employer's questioning and all that off as long as they can. Now you have to understand at some point they have to contact them.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be before those final magical tests of the psych and the medical and all that stuff. Because now the department's spending some money. They want to make sure that what they're getting is what they're supposed to be getting. So at some point, you're going to have to just kind of pull those big boy or big girl pants up and go have that conversation with your employer and say, I've got aspirations of being a cop. This is coming. But, background investigators, if they're reasonable, they'll put it off for as long as they can. I've heard some, though, that are just like, nope, I got to contact them right away. Yeah. And I don't, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I've always been one that, hey, I'll do it as late as I can. And, I'll even talk to my boss and say, I'm pushing this one way off. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think that it's not, most, let me form my thought here, because I got a bunch of different thoughts going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Most departments have on the PHS saying, "Do you mind if we contact this employer?"
Mm-hmm.
And if you say no, it's generally because you don't want them to know. And but I think the best way to handle it is to wait until it's the very last call. Like, the background's done, everything's done, and then you decided you're going to hire the person. That's when you make the call, because unless something comes up bad at the current employer, there's no reason to hold off on it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I have had, candidates that they go, "Okay, yeah, come check my employment check,"
Mm-hmm.
and then they never told the employer.
Mm-hmm. I've had that too.
And then all of a sudden, I go in there, and the next day, I get a call saying, I got fired.
How
Because
quickly can you get this done? Because I just got fired.
I just got fired,
Yes, I've had that.
and that's pretty crappy of an
Mhm.
employer to do, but it has happened.
It has, and I'll tell you where it really comes into play is when there's an officer looking to lateral to another agency.
Mm-hmm.
Some chiefs take that pretty personal, and I've seen officers lose their jobs just because they're looking for a different department.
Yeah,
Now, when
that's
we talk about employment, and I don't know if this question comes up, but when we talk about that magical box of, do you mind us contacting this employer? Well, the way most PHSs are set up is that box is on every one of your employers you list, whether it's current or former. Don't be that person that on your former employer you check the box. No, I don't want you to contact them. That's like a red
Mhm.
glowing flag for the background investigator, because now we know, oh, something's going on here you don't want us to contact. And I had one guy say, yeah, I didn't have a good experience with them. I was always fighting with the supervisor. I don't want you to talk to him. I'm like, well,
No.
this will be a fun conversation, because guess what? I am contacting them.
Yeah.
Just because you check the box doesn't mean we're not contacting them. It means we'll have a conversation on when we're going to contact them.
Yeah. It's a kind of a sticky situation, but the bottom line is they will contact your employer. If you get
Mhm.
far enough in the background, they're going to contact your employer.
Yep.
And sometimes sometimes and don't ask the background investigator, "Hey, should I?" You don't ask them for advice,
Mm-mm.
because they're not going to be on the hook if something happens or you don't get promoted or something happens. The background investigator is not going to tell you, "Yeah, go ahead, tell them." So that's going to be something you're going to have to think about.
Yep.
Okay, delayed disclosure. If I forgot something small on my PHS, should I tell you right away or wait until the polygraph?
Well, Mr. Copilot, could you explain what you mean by small? Because I've heard people say, "Oh, I forgot one little thing." Like, what's that? I stole $500 from my employer.
It was small.
How is that a little thing?
Yeah, I mean, what is small? If you leave, to me,
You leave
okay,
anything off. If you leave something off, big, small, whatever, you need to fess up to it as fast as you can, whether it be email, call, whatever, to your background investigator. Big, small, doesn't matter. Right away. Get that information to your background investigator right away. Don't wait.
yeah,
Is that right, Ken? Is that what you're going to say? Did I
Yeah,
take the words right out of your mouth?
you did. I mean, the thing about small is small. I don't even know how to define that, because if it's something that, so small,
Mhm.
let's think of something small. Can you think of something that can be considered small?
Maybe you forgot an employer. Maybe you worked a side job
Okay.
and
What
you're just getting cash, paid under the table cash. You forgot to disclose that.
what if you didn't get written up, but you were talking to your boss, and he goes, "Yeah, remember I talked to you about that thing one time," and you go, "Oh shoot."
You got verbal warning. How about
Yeah,
that?
it was a verbal counseling warning. You
Right.
forgot to put it on there. That could be something considered. I wouldn't hammer somebody for something silly like that.
I wouldn't hammer them, but again, as soon as you remember it, you got to fess up to it. You got to, don't wait. Never wait until the polygraph. Never wait for the next time you're going to talk to the background investigator. I tell everyone I'm doing a background on the, hey, if you remember something, at very minimum, email me right away.
Yeah. But what's the question about the poly though? What happens if you don't call your BI or you don't have a BI and it's on your PHS and then you get to the poly? What do polygraph examiners do?
We just put it into a report. Well, oh man, it's a loaded question because I've heard some weird things with polygraph examiners. Most polygraph examiners will note what was left off of the PHS and a reason why. A good polygraph examiner is going to ask, why was it not included? And put that in the report. They don't, that is not an indication of deception or non-deception. It is purely just, oh, well, this fact came out and I'm noting it in my report. It plays no role in the decision on your success or lack of success on the polygraph.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what happens if you're doing a poly and somebody makes a pre or post poly disclosure that they forgot to put
after the polygraph is done?
Before it starts and they look at the machine, they go, I better say something here.
Oh, I've had that. I've had that all the time. I put it in my report.
Okay. So not to focus on the poly, but we're talking about someone leaves something off the PHS and they go, I forgot something on my PHS and I need to disclose it before the poly.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens then?
Well, I want to know, number one, why, how did you forget it? What was it? Was it something that I could conceivably believe that, yep, you may have forgotten it? Or was it one of those things that, oh, it happened 2 weeks ago. How did you forget this? You know, find out what's the timing. Is it believable that they forgot it? And then why was it left off the PHS?
Now there are post poly disclosures as well. What if somebody goes through the whole poly and you're going, yeah, you're having problems with this question, and then they let the whole poly go through and everything. Then they go, you know what? I have to tell you something.
And then they disclose.
They disclose something.
I mean, that's considered. I mean, most polygraph examiners will just consider that if they're having a problem with the question when we're doing the polygraph, we're getting a significant response, and then they say, "Oh, I forgot to tell you about this." There's two ways a polygraph examiner could go about it. They could do another exam now saying, all right, you made this disclosure. Let's make sure there's nothing else. Or they could just write up the report saying, hey, there was a significant response. They didn't tell me this, and then let the background investigator make a decision on what they're going to do.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard people do it those different ways.
Okay, so delayed 17 top disqualification mistake. What is the number one mistake that candidates make that get them disqualified during backgrounds?
I don't like the word mistake.
It's not a mistake. What is the most number one thing candidates do that make them gets them disqualified?
Lying.
Yep, I have to agree with that. I don't have any other information or answers to that. Don't lie. If you get caught lying, it's going to follow you forever.
Yep. You lie, you die.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Yep.
False positive deception. If the polygraph says deception, but I know I'm telling the truth, is my application immediately rejected? Let's go to the polygrapher himself, Donovan Heavener. Polygrapher.
All right. So the way it's supposed to go, again, you have all these naysayers out there. Polygraph, is nothing but a way to disqualify people, blah, blah, blah. Believe it or not, I don't get paid extra if I fail someone. I don't get paid extra if I pass someone. I get paid the same no matter what. So it doesn't matter to me whether they pass or fail. But what it comes down to, what should really happen is the polygraph is just another tool in the tool belt in the background process.
Hmm. True.
If someone shows up with a significant reaction, or what AI is saying is deception, um, then that means, hey, background investigator, you need to do a little more digging to figure out what's going on. If you don't get that post polygraph disclosure, say someone's having an issue with the drug question, it comes up a significant response after the polygraph. You have a couple questions. Yeah, I didn't want to tell you about this because I was embarrassed. Well, now we know that they're being deceitful, right? So we know what that is. So that's pretty easy. The background investigator can look at it and they can make a determination what they want to do. But if you have someone who says, "No, I'm telling you the truth. I don't know why you're getting a significant response on that question." Now it's time that goes back to the background investigator. Now they need to start doing a little legwork. Does the result match what the background is showing?
Hmm.
Do you need to make some more phone calls to talk to people to find out what's going on? Um, to me, I hate it, and agencies do it. I hate it when an agency says, "Oh, there was a significant response," or you quote unquote failed your polygraph. You're not moving on. That should not be the sole decider.
Hmm.
Um, if there was stats out there that said polygraph, CVSA, or eye detector, any of them are 100% accurate, then yes, absolutely. But there's nothing out there that says these are 100% accurate. That's why it's just a tool in the tool belt.
Hmm.
Everything along the background process is a tool in the tool belt. So it just means more work for the or for the background investigator. I've had it. I've had to do it. I had one, and right now I know that cop. She's a successful cop, but that person had a significant reaction after it. We talked. They're like, I don't know why I'm being truthful, 100% truthful. I did more work. I spent probably I think it was another full day just on that area. And it was probably I think it was like a 2 hour drive for me to get to where she lived. And I was knocking on doors, talking to friends, talking to family, just trying to sort things out, and made the determination that, yeah, I mean, there's nothing that shows that there should have been any significant reaction. So I was able to feel comfortable moving forward, even though there was a quote unquote failed polygraph. I felt good recommending that person. Like I said, I mean, she's a successful cop now.
Hmm. Yeah.
I hope she doesn't show
19.
up in the news tomorrow.
If you're going 90 miles an hour, no shade there.
Yep.
19, character trait disqualification. Can I fail simply because of an unfavorable character trait without breaking laws or rules? That's a loaded question, man.
That is holy mackerel.
Of an unfavorable trait. You talk too much. What could be an unfavorable trait?
Argumentative.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Always
Failure
right.
Failure to get along with coworkers.
Yeah, there's some traits that, yeah, I mean, you just have when you talk to them, they're going to be that problem
Mhm.
with the other employees. I mean, you talk to like coworkers that they're currently working with or they worked with. Yeah, they were always arguing. They always knew that they were right, that kind of thing. Those are going to be people that we're going to kind of take our time on and really start to think, is this someone we want to bring into our department? Because as a background investigator, you're helping set the culture of the department,
Mhm.
and you're maintaining that culture, and you got to make sure that you're not bringing in people who could be, they always use the word cancer, a cancer in the department. You want to make sure you don't do that.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. And I that's a tough one. That might be more of a psych type of thing.
It
But
is. Yeah. You may get, like for me, I would give the psych a heads up sometimes.
so let me ask you a question because I can
Mhm,
answer this question. Have
mhm.
you ever had candidates they just annoy you?
Oh, yeah.
Your personalities just annoy you.
Yep. I've had that.
I too
I,
have had that.
I've had that. But again, that's why uh, the departments I was at, the different interview processes that move on, where they move through these different processes and they talk to different people in the department. They're kind of a gauge for me to say, hey, maybe you're just a little sensitive or whatever. Because I got along fine with them, that I didn't see any issues. So sometimes it is, believe it or not, background investigators don't get along with everyone. We're humans.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get along with everyone. me and Ken, I don't know how we get along, but we get along.
We'll get along, but not with everybody.
But not with everybody, right? So those departments that have gotten away from an interview process, and the only contact they have is with a background investigator. To me, that's kind of dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the only person who's having contact with them before they're hired, then you really get the just whatever that background investigator wants personality wise.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a bad thing for a department.
Yeah. And if you have to be honest with yourself, if most people don't like you, your background investigator probably won't like you either.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Have you ever done a background on an attorney who wants to move to law enforcement? Did you ever have that honor and privilege?
I feel like I've talked to attorneys like that, but maybe not.
Yeah, if there's attorneys out there who are cops now, don't hate me for this, but man, talk about, you go into those candidate interviews a little guarded, because attorneys normally know everything. In our minds, that's the way we view attorneys. So we try to have our guard up a little bit with them. And I've hired a couple former attorneys as cops, and they've turned out well, but I've had a couple come through that they would have been a bad fit for the department.
Mm-hmm. True. 20, permanent record impact. If I get disqualified by your agency, will that permanent record prevent me from ever getting hired by another police department? So I'm going to say right away that most background investigations, whether they're actual hard copies in a folder, stored, or on a computer, they're all permanent somewhere, even if it's a ghost file on some computer from 20 years ago.
Right.
So is that a blanket DQ from if you get DQ'd somewhere?
If you apply at departments that have lazy background investigators, yes.
True.
You've proved it on the podcast.
Yeah.
That is not the permanent DQ on a background is not the end.
Right.
There is an agency out there who is going to look at you and give you a chance most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a murder in your background, probably not. But there's some agencies who'll disqualify you for some of the dumbest stuff out there, and other agencies will be a little more relaxed. Smaller agencies sometimes are a little more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Because they need to get people hired, and they don't have as big a pool as the bigger agencies. So bigger agencies can disqualify people for sillier stuff.
Yeah. So that's a question that is, so the base answer is if you get disqualified by some agency, doesn't mean you're automatically disqualified forever.
Right.
Just depends on the agency. But then Donovan is also saying that there's a possibility that if you get DQ'd, some background investigators are lazy and they'll look at a DQ and they'll DQ you because they don't want to do the work.
Hold on. Am I just saying that, or are you backing me up on this, Ken?
I've probably said it more than you, but I'm just referring to you just said it.
You're sending the hate to me.
Donovan says that you can. It's possible some agencies will just not want to do the background, and they'll see you got DQ'd, and they won't do it.
Right. And I'll tell you, I've had people come through because they've failed the polygraph. That was their disqualification. They failed the polygraph. I bring them in, they make it to wherever, and the background investigator says, let's bring them polygraph and see what happens. I give them the pass. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not. Don't ever look at anything as, oh, I get disqualified once, I'm done for. You're not done
Right.
for.
And that, yeah, so that's the more true.
Have you kept a record on what on what's the most disqualifications on someone you've worked with?
I haven't kept a record, but I've known some where I know that the answer.
And I go back. I mean, who was the gentleman who, like, 14 years he was applying to be a cop?
Yeah.
Just getting
Yeah.
disqualified all the time, and it was all because. And I mean, you were able to at least deduce that it was lazy background investigators disqualifying them off a past DQ that was stupid.
Yeah. 14 years later.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, don't take that as I'm done. If you truly want to be in this, and your disqualification isn't like for something horrendous, like you sold a kilo of cocaine,
Mhm.
keep at it. You will find the right fit.
Yeah. So the answer is, if you get disqualified, it's okay. You go somewhere else and get hired.
Keep plugging away.
Yeah. This is interesting. This question.
Oh,
Am I going to pass? um, you know, I'll have people contact me and they'll just have like a two sentence thing, and they'll go, "Hey, so I got tickets and I got fired one time. Am I going to pass?"
mm-hmm.
And the answer is, I don't know.
Right.
How can I tell you if
Yeah.
you're going to pass? I think universally, you can't really tell someone they're going to pass a background unless you talk to them and you go, "Give me everything," and they they grew up in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood and they were good kids and they never did anything wrong. Then you can kind of go, "Yeah, I don't see anything in the background that can keep you from getting hired." But if you're going to ask a background investigator, "Can I pass?" That's just a loaded question that I don't really think anybody can absolutely tell you if you're going to pass.
Well, I mean, can I pass? Yeah, you can pass. Am I going to pass? Well, now that's a whole nother question. Am I going to pass? I don't know. I mean, I had that where I show up day of testing when they do the written test and the physical test.
Mhm.
And I let all the people who are testing know, hey, I'm the background investigator, do polygraphs. If you have any questions, come talk to me. I have people come up to me and they tell me their stories. And they're like, well, am I okay? Well, I'm not going to say you're okay. I need to know the full story. I know you're telling me your side of it, but I need to know the full story. And if you're not being truthful, you're probably not going to make it. Sometimes I'll let people know, well, if it is exactly how you explained it, and we'd find nothing else out, you have a good chance of passing the background.
Mm-hmm.
No background investigator up front is going to tell you, yeah, you're going to pass.
Yeah, that's a too difficult question.
Yeah.
We can make a educated guess, but it's not 100% because you have to do the whole background before you can really say.
Right.
Let's pass up. Well, what are you really looking for? I don't know if that's a good question or not.
No, let's pass that one.
Does one mistake disqualify me? You talked about patterns versus incidents. So let's talk about that.
If it's one mistake and it's not a huge mistake, a mistake is a mistake. And normally we can get through it. We can figure it out. I always tell people when they're in the background phase and they're filling out their PHS, if they have that quote unquote one mistake, number one, fess up to it because you got to be honest. Number two, what did you learn from it and how did you improve your life? Oh, good Lord. Did you see this question that popped up? I like this one. Oh, I think we were clicking.
Oh, you put it up.
There we go.
Have you ever been bribed by a candidate?
Lauren, I've never been bribed. I'm trying to think, do I have a number? No, I don't have a number in my head. There's no way I'd ever take a bribe on that.
No, that would be bad, but I wouldn't put it past some candidates to do that, to try that.
Yeah. That's an awesome. Leave it to Lauren to come in with a good question.
Lauren for the win. Lauren wins the internet today with that question. I don't even know. That's a good question. Oh, look at this thing.
Yeah.
Would you
I
like to
like
be? Oh my gosh, man. I would have to say no.
No.
Because you know what? Interesting question though. What if somebody offered a bribe? Because bribing a government employee during an official investigation could be bad. I'm pretty sure it's probably a felony, some kind of
Yep.
felony.
And would I say that it's never happened? I'm sure there's someone who accepted a bribe at some point.
I feel like it. I feel like it's not beyond the realm of possibility.
I mean, it's humans doing this. I mean, they're gonna do stupid stuff.
Yeah, humans.
But yeah, when we get down to this, the one mistake, if it's just literally one mistake and it's something you were able to learn from, and it's not a automatic disqualifier, you didn't commit a felony or something like that, you can survive that. But if it's a pattern that continues to play out, that, oh, I made this mistake, oh, I showed up late, I got written up at this job, showed up late, got fired from this job, showed up late, got written up at this job, and it just keeps showing. You're showing us that you can't handle the responsibility, and that's what we look for. We want to make sure we're hiring people who can handle responsibility and learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, one mistake's not going to keep you out, though.
Right.
Should I tell you everything? You should
Have you
tell
ever
us
had
everything.
Have you ever had anyone say, "I didn't think you needed to know that"?
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. I didn't think you needed to know that.
I just had that recently, and I must have had that look on my face, like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, and some candidates are pretty serious about that.
Oh, I know
mean,
they
they're
are. Yeah.
they're not like, oh, you know what? I really think that was that applied.
Mm-hmm.
No, some of them go, I didn't think you need to know that. They're like indignant about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a good way to piss off your background investigator.
Yep. Especially, and we talked about this last week, when you have the expunged or the sealed case.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that was sealed. You didn't have to know that.
That's none of
Yes,
your
I did.
business. or if they go, or if I've had have you ever had a candidate, you're sitting there in the meet and greet or something like that, and they tell you, oh boy, that's kind of personal.
Mm-hmm.
The whole background's personal, man.
Mm-hmm. And every one of those questions on the personal history statement goes back to some stupid thing an officer did that now we have to start screening out for.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to. It's just like every policy has an officer's name attached to it because they did something stupid. When you look at TASER and all the different rules, I can give you names of officers who helped create those rules because of the stupid stuff they did with the TASER,
Mm-hmm.
when it first came out. So yeah, we've got to ask all that stuff. And yes, you have to tell us everything.
Yeah, there's no getting around that. You have to disclose everything, especially if something's on the PHS. It's on there because you have to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get caught, being arrogant with your background investigator. Do you already know the answers? So when I'm assuming that this refers to maybe you call a candidate in for a second interview, and you ask questions like, "Hey, so anything like that? Do you already know the answer to it?"
Yeah. So, well, let me give you an example. So you say keep bringing them back in. I'll tell you, up in Washington, when they come in for their candidate interview, the very first meet and greet, I already have a packet of information. I know what's going on. In Washington State, when you go through a background process, you get fingerprinted right away, and that goes in the system. And when you are in a background and we check your criminal history, it comes up every place that you had a background done.
Yeah.
And I had someone come in, they were disqualified from an agency, left it off their personal history statement. I go through the question, all the agencies you applied to. Yep. All right. Nothing else. Nope. Nothing else. Okay. And then as we go back and get ready to fingerprint, I'm like, just so you know, we fingerprint you because we track what background investigations are done on you. And you just got to make sure you're entered in the system for us. Oh, wait, I think I forgot to tell you an agency.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know a lot of the stuff when we go in there. I'm one. First thing I do when I get a file is I do a Google search on the person right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the bat. And that tells you a lot of stuff. If they have anything going on, it tells you a lot. So we know a lot of the answers. We don't know all of them. We know a lot of them to start off with, though.
Yeah. And a lot of people know that when you apply, you get fingerprinted, and the fingerprints, I don't know if this is what you're referring to, the fingerprints show up as an application record on your criminal history.
On your criminal history, yes. Yep.
So everywhere you apply that you got fingerprinted, you better keep that in there.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Lauren again with a good one.
Good one. How has hearing everyone's dirty laundry shaped your view of people now? Do you ever get flashbacks of strange candidates in their story?
Well, first off, Lauren, we're both mad that we didn't take better notes so we could write a book about everything.
Oh, man. Can you imagine if we actually kept a book on these stories that we've heard?
Oh, my God.
Ooh-wee.
For me, I mean, I know everyone has dirty laundry for the most part. It hasn't changed my view of people. But there are some stories that you hear, 100% honesty. I mean, when I was doing backgrounds and everything, my first 6 months at the police academy, after I got done doing backgrounds for my agency, and I was in the academy, all of a sudden I started looking out at the students at other agencies I hired. I'm like, oh, I disqualified you and I know what it was for. I disqualified you and I know what it's for. And I had to keep it to myself as to what was going on, but I'm thinking, how can an agency hire this person? So I would account to that being a flashback when I'm in the middle of teaching something. All of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, I know what you were disqualified for.
You know what, Lauren? I will say that I think most background investigators, if you've been doing it long enough, you become immune to a lot of things. But I can guarantee you, there's stuff that I've heard, and the candidates. Some candidates are like, I want to tell you something, and they'll kind of skirt around it and things like that. And I have to go, so you did this, and they finally go, yeah, that's what I did. But they're embarrassed. And then the other thing is that sometimes candidates will say stuff, and I think after a number of years, you just get immune to the stories.
Yeah.
Because
and for me, it was always trying not to have that look of shock or horror on my face when they told me something. I try to tell everyone, I've been doing this long enough. I think I've heard it all. And then they'll tell me something new. And I'm just trying to hold it in like, oh my God, that's the most horrible thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And even today, when I do the consultations with candidates, I have them complete a PHS, and they tell me all their dirty laundry. And some people have said, now this is completely confidential, right? And I'm like, yeah, if anybody finds out, it's because you told them. Don't go blabbing your mouth about your background. So let's put it this way. I would never want to see you people on that street. How embarrassing. Imagine that after you get done with your background and you've told them all these salacious things, and they go, hey, good to see you at the market or something like that. You wonder what they say. Most background investigators don't get real judgy about stuff, and they don't apply, like they don't attach some weird feeling to you.
Right.
Because background investigators are usually pretty black and white. It's a DQ. It's not a DQ.
Yep.
That's about it. But I will say that there have been moments that have been uncomfortable, but I kept a poker face, and they say, so anyways, yeah, so I did this when I was this old and blah, blah, blah. And it's some pretty horrendous stuff. And I have to sit there and go, and inside I'm going, wow, dude, wow, you did that. And so it could be awkward internally.
Yeah. Well, I remember one I disqualified someone came down to stolen valor.
Oh, wow.
The military. And another agency hired that person. And like I said, I saw them in the academy and trying to keep that down. I'm not a military veteran or anything, but I just know that, man,
Wow.
and there's always, where I was at, there's a lot of veterans in the class. If they knew, and it was hard I don't know how that department hired him or her. And I don't know if they did, why they made that decision. it was bad, and I had to sit there the whole time, keeping it to myself the whole time. But
That would be tough.
treated him the same as everyone else because I'm
I
a
just want
professional.
I just want to interrupt the podcast to mention that we are officially promoting Lauren to the unofficial fourth host of the podcast, June 1st, 2026 at 6 p.m. You are now you're now promoted to be the fourth unofficial host. So do what you will with that. But yeah, how far back do you check?
As far back as my agency lets me.
I would like to say I heard this one time. It cracked me up. That they go, how far back do you check? And the person said, okay, go back to the day you were born. It's the day before that. It's the day before that because some PHSs, yes, Lauren, I'm glad
It's your lucky day.
It's your lucky day.
And Ken may have frozen there. So, yeah, I mean, some PHSs, they go back all the way. They'll give an age like maybe 15. I'll go back as far as the agency allows me to go. So that's the fun thing about it is you get to learn a lot about people when you're doing the background and find out what's going on. And again, especially when they're juveniles, you can start seeing if patterns are starting to emerge. So that as we get into our adult lives, we see if that is something that's going to continue. So, and it looks like Ken has completely frozen. He's going to be back in a second, but I'm going to move on. Will you talk to my employer? So we've discussed this one a little bit. Yeah, we're going to talk to your employer at some time. We're going to have to. But if you talk to your background investigator right away, let them know, hey, you have a concern about letting your employer know right away. Can you please give me a heads up when you're going to talk to my employer so I can have that conversation with them before we contact them? That's awesome. We can do that. There's no issue with that whatsoever. So, and we're looking for Ken. Ken's coming back in.
And message.
Ken is actually me right now. So, yeah, I got your message, Ken, that your computer restarted. So I've been keeping the conversation flowing here. Lauren didn't chime in at all. So,
Lauren didn't chime in.
No, she lost her hosting abilities, I think, at this point.
Oh, no.
We'll go back now. Let's talk about how far back do you check? You were in the midst of a great monumental moment there, telling us some wisdom. So what do you got for us, Ken?
First, I got to fix my thing here. Donovan Evaner. What is wrong with this thing?
It's fixed.
Oh, my name?
Yeah, your name's fixed.
I didn't even fix it. That's just weird.
Lauren said I did great. You're a host again, Lauren.
Yeah, well, I mean,
hold on. Hold on, Lauren. Let's put this up here. Lauren said I did great. So she has her hosting abilities back. You will have the equal pay that I get as well, Lauren. So
absolutely. Why did my computer just decide it wants to restart on its own? I hate that. I've never had that happen before, but that sucked pretty bad.
It's because you use a Windows computer.
Oh. My computer's acting like me.
Oh, Lauren's got a lot to say about the next one. So,
But the next.
Right. So, yeah, after we hear about you, how far back do you go? We'll go to references. So, all right. So, Ken, how far back do you check on a background investigation?
I was going to say that the California Post PHS, it says things like on criminal history, go back 10 years or age 15.
Right.
And I'm thinking, so 14 and before, you could have been arrested, got talked to by cops, and California Post doesn't care about that because it's not past the 15. I mean, it's past the 15. And so I would still be interested if somebody said, because on the PHS, even though it says that, there's still places that you can ask questions. I'm not comfortable with only going back to age 15 or something like that.
What age can a juvenile or a kid be charged with a crime in California? Do you know?
With a crime?
With a crime.
Well, you have to, if you charge them as an adult, they
I
can be
don't-
charged
Not
with
as
a
an
crime.
adult, just a crime.
Well, you can't be charged with a crime, or you can't be convicted of a crime as a juvenile in California.
What kind of nonsense is that?
They and you can
California, come on.
they get when you look at a juvenile record, it doesn't say convicted. It says petition sustained.
Okay, so when can you file a petition against a juvenile?
Anytime for a crime, anytime.
And really, they don't have an age that where they know that they've committed a.
Oh, well, I don't know about California, but I mean, there's kids that are like 8 years old and they committed murder or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But I don't.
I'm trying to remember Washington. I think it was 12 before you could actually charge them with a crime.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's why I mean, you see some horrendous things that 8-year-olds do, 5-year-olds do. So that's why I don't like that. Back to when you were 15.
Back to when you're 15.
All right.
So let's go to, will you talk to my employer?
We're done with that one. We're done with that one, Ken. I already covered that. We're moving on to the reference one.
What about the which one is Lauren talking about?
The what if my references don't like me? Oh wait, what if one of my okay, sorry. She's going to the employers.
Say you're sorry to me. Say you're sorry to me, or I'm not going to do it.
I'm sorry, Lauren.
No. Let's assume you believe me.
Hey.
What if one employer reference hates you because they are petty? How do you communicate with that without looking immature?
So we talked about this last
Lauren's
save that one. All right. So we talked about this last week when it comes to the employer references. That's why we let everyone know there's a space for 2 coworkers on there. If you have more coworkers, we wouldn't turn more coworkers away. Coworkers are going to help back you up on some of that stuff. If you have that boss that's just like that boss from, HE double hockey sticks. That was for you, Ken, not saying the naughty word. Then they can back you up and they can say, yeah, that supervisor's a nightmare. They're not going to give anyone a good review. I was working with Lauren and she was a great coworker, loved her, all that kind of stuff. So the more information you can provide us rather than, hey, this employer just hated me. Give us some context, give us some people to back that portion of it up.
Yeah, I think we covered that as well before. Like, get all your ducks in line with former coworkers.
Yep.
And people that can just overwhelmingly say this is a good worker, and the one employer reference doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. And I've had that where coworkers have said, "Oh yeah, that supervisor, yeah, they're a jerk. They're not going to say anything nice about anyone."
Right.
Which kind of helps the story then, helps establish what's going on. So, all right, now you can bring up Lawrence.
Speaking of child murderers, what do you think about demonic possession?
That's what the psychs are for.
I've gotten candidates that sit in front of me, and they're the nicest candidate. They're super nice. They're super nice. And then when you start talking to references and you start talking to exes and family members and things, they go, they're psycho. They're crazy. But in front of you, they're just the nicest person. And so, demonic possession, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But again, that's what the psychs are for.
That's what the psychs are for. Yeah, that would be interesting. Okay, so we've got that already. Talk to employer references don't like me. Very quickly, did you talk about the references?
I didn't. That's what I was going to move on to that one. So, and then you came back.
What if my references don't like me?
Why are you putting them on
why are you
putting them on the personal history statement?
Why are you doing that? Oh my gosh. Yeah, go ahead and ask your question because we're going to answer for you. It doesn't matter if we answered it already. Ask us because that's where the people that are here live, those are the lucky ones because they get
Yep.
their questions answered live. So yeah, go ahead and ask your question. That's fine. Yeah. So the basic answer is that don't put references down that don't like you. What's wrong with you? You should get DQ'd. You should get DQ'd for putting references down that don't even like you. We talked.
The ones you have to worry about though is uh, the generated references. You know, where you talk
Right.
to a reference and then, hey, anyone else you know that could, shed some light? Those are the ones you have no control over. But if you're putting them on your PHS, you better make sure they're going to give you a good reference.
Right. What happens if someone lies about me? Oh, that's never happened.
No.
What happens if someone lies about you and you found out about it?
I mean, if you can figure out someone's lying about you, then you just don't take the information. I mean, this isn't an official police investigation or anything that we can charge them. But if we can figure out that they're lying about you, then we just don't utilize the information. I mean, it's documented what happened in the background report, but
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt you if we can figure it out.
That's a really difficult question, though. What if how do you know someone's lying about you? The background investigator can't tell you, hey, someone said this about you for the most part.
I talk to other references and they're like, no, he's lying or she's lying. If you get a couple of them saying, no, that person's lying about it, then maybe you could say that they're lying.
Yeah. So I don't know that that's just a too open a question. Why are you so hard to reach?
Is that the candidate asking the background investigator that?
Yeah.
Well, nowadays, that should not be a problem when we have text messaging, we have phones with voice message, we have email. There shouldn't be a problem reaching out to your background investigator. If the background investigator is not responding, that's on them. That, again, is a lazy background investigator. I don't know how else to say it, Ken.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see if I'm going to put this question up just because I was non-selected and DQ'd by another department this year, but was informed I could reapply next year. If I joined the Coast Guard Reserves, would that help?
It wouldn't hurt.
It wouldn't hurt, but quite honestly, I don't know how Donovan feels about this, but I can't answer the question because I don't know why you got DQ'd.
Right. Or why you got non-selected.
Non-select
sometimes is not enough. DQ'd. Yeah. Non-select could be, not enough life experience, not enough work history. Joining any sort of the military will, as long as you fulfill your contract, you don't get an honorable discharge, an Article 15, anything like that. Military is only going to help you.
Yeah. It's not bad to have on your resume.
No, but without knowing the information on the DQ and the non-select, we can't give you a specific answer. But anyone who ever asked me, well, would it help if I joined the military? Mm-hmm. Absolutely, as long as you don't screw up.
Yeah. Where were we? Why are you so hard to reach?
We covered that one.
Well, why are you so hard to reach, Donovan?
I'm not hard to reach. I respond right away. Unless Ken texts me at 2:00 in the morning, and then he's got to wait a couple hours for me to wake up.
And I could do that if I wanted to mess with you.
I know.
So let's see. Polygraph.
We've gone over that one.
Can I fix something from my past? Can I fix something from my past?
Some things can be fixed, some things cannot be fixed. So it depends. Let's just say early on in your working career, maybe in high school and right when you got done with high school, you were always showing up late to work, missing work, that kind of thing. Give yourself a couple of years of perfect attendance. That's a way to fix something, right? Shows that you matured, shows, I realized I had this problem and I fixed it. I don't know. What else would you?
We were talking to, we did an interview recently with a guy named Adam, one of my candidates from 11, 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He got DQ'd and they told him blah, blah, blah. Back when he got DQ'd in 2009 or 11 or something like that. Back when he got DQ'd, they actually told you these are the standards he got DQ'd for him. And he took that to heart and he joined the Marines, did 2 tours and things like that. And he fixed it. So the military can mature you depending on the things. It can erase a lot of stuff. Just building up your resume and showing that you don't do the things that you did when you were a kid or younger.
A
We
solid
talk,
work history with some volunteering in there, that always helps.
yeah.
Fix some things in the past, showing that maturity. There's ways to do it on there's some things you'll never be able to fix.
Hmm. Let's go to the bottom left. Why does this take so long? I posted an AI video yesterday for our subscribers, our paid subscribers, and then in a few days I'm going to post it to the public. But one of the things is that there's a huge percentage in the 60s or 70% of candidates that leave the hiring process because it's taking so long.
Yes.
And why it takes so long, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that departments do that loses candidates because they get pissed off.
So that number you have though, does it say what the average background investigation time frame is that they're saying is so long, that takes so long?
Like 8 to 9 months
Oh,
from the
that's crazy.
time you get into the process. And of course, they're focusing on Chicago, New
Mhm.
York, Los Angeles, bigger departments where the pipeline's so huge that you've got all these candidates, but you've only got X amount of city employees or whatever that's processing them and testing them.
Well, and you got too many cooks in the kitchen that have to get their hands
Yeah.
involved, and it slows everything down. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the question, I mean, if you're in the chat or later on when you're watching this and you've kind of been the quote unquote victim of the long drawn out process, let us
Mhm.
know.
But I've
'Cause
heard
I'm
that in the private world too, that
really,
candidates are dropping out because the hiring process is taking too long. That's
yeah.
why I asked if there was a time frame because, but again, I've heard some private companies are taking 5, 6 months to hire someone, which blows my mind. I don't understand how that takes so long to hire someone, because they're utilizing AI more than we are.
Yeah. I mean, in law enforcement, you don't want to cut corners either
Nope.
when it comes to background. We were just talking about, can you tell us about that story that came out of, was it Las Vegas?
It was out of Las Vegas.
Tell
Yes.
us about that story.
So there was an officer that he is under investigation right now, I believe. He's being sued. Pulled a young lady over, um, had her get out of the car, moved her to an area of a parking lot where there were no cameras, asked for her personal phone number, told her how pretty she was, asked for a hug, and then tried to kiss her, all sorts of stuff. So there's that going on. But now what and we don't know the facts. We only know what's in the civil suit right now. This is where it's coming from. Is that there's indications that from prior employers, this person had the same concerns from prior employers that they documented this. Yeah. How did they make it through the background process? I don't know. I don't know if it was brought up. I don't know if it's true. I don't know where we're at with it. But this is why background processes take time. We don't want to cut corners because then people like this, if he really did something wrong, people like this are ones that are going to get into the field, which give law enforcement a bad name. So there's a lot of times I just tell people, hey, I'm sorry it takes this long, but it takes this long for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
9 months nowadays, I don't know, except that there's just so many people that have to shuffle through these things, why it takes so long. But a moderate sized agency should not be taking 9 months to get a background done at
Even
all.
a smaller agency. I mean, how many applicants do you have?
Right. Yeah. A small agency should never take that long.
Yeah.
There's that. I always say there's always that fishing period where you got to, throw the bait in the water and let it soak. While you're waiting for agencies to contact you and references to contact you. It takes time for that, but there's no reason why for a background it's taking more than what, Ken, 2 months.
Yeah, that's a long time. If
All,
you've got a
I mean,
smaller
all
agency,
said and done. Yeah, all said and done, wrapped
yeah.
up, should not be more than 2 months.
Yeah, because smaller agencies, you don't have a pool of 1,000 candidates and you got to, stagger the testing and all that. You can if you have two or three, I mean, how many, 5, 10, You can do bam, 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 and schedule them all for testing.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it shouldn't take that
Absolutely.
long. Question here. Any concerns with the military applying before their contract is finished and pending a disability rating? It could be over 50%.
It's a good question.
It's interesting. There's no concerns with the military applying before your contract finished because what did we talk about what's that program they have now where you can skill bridge.
Skill bridge, yes.
Skill bridge is a
It's
something
like an
between
internship.
the military, between the military and police departments. It's called
Mhm.
skill bridge. Look into that.
Yep.
And they actually get you in the hiring process in coordination with the military that you're currently in. So they help you do that before your contract is expired.
Yep.
There was this thing with there was a big discussion online about military disability rating because Riverside PD in California, the chief moved to fire two of his officers who had 100, I think it was 100% military disability rating, and
Mhm.
they were cops on the job, and they had disabled plates on their cars, and I believe he actually fired them, and I'm sure it's going to go to court. But the whole thing about the disability rating, military does not rate their military disability ratings are not what people think of.
Right.
You can get 100% disability rating or something, a really high percentage, and it does not. It's not the same as what you think in the civilian world.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it's a completely different thing. And I heard now the military is starting to ease back on those ratings. They seem to really loosen the reins there for a while on the
Mhm.
ratings, but now it sounds like they're bringing it back in so that it's not these 100%. I mean, for us, when it comes to disability ratings, that's a medical thing. That's HIPAA. That's we can't even really get involved in that.
Yep.
Um, but when it comes to the military applying, if you're not going to do skill bridge or something, I always say, hey, look at when your contract ends. Usually start applying about 6 months before. Get
Yeah.
a
Six
letter.
months.
Get a letter from your commanding officer saying that, hey, yep, he's going to fulfill his contract, or he or she is going to fulfill their contract. They are anticipated to have an honorable discharge, and this is when their term date is anticipated to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a
Uh,
letter like that, and then we can get the DD 214 once it's issued after.
yeah. So it's not a big deal.
Nope.
Spanish Dad says it took 2.5 months to get a hire date from start to finish. That's crazy.
That's awesome. That's
And
good.
12 days to clear backgrounds. That's insane. That's
Uh,
great.
Clearing backgrounds, that they sent that background file up saying, hey, let's push them through, but if something comes up, we'll come readdress it.
Um, Here's another question. Does having a CCW make background checks for candidates somewhat easier for BIs? Example, having a CCW in Riverside County, California, and a planning department within that county. I have an answer for that, Donovan.
Negative. No, CCW does not make it easier. All that is they just run a criminal history check on you.
Yeah, it's a really cursory type of. It's
Yeah.
not even a background. It's just really a real cursory thing. See if you got mental issues or you have a criminal history, or
Just
you
like when
can't
people
really.
ask if it's easier for you to get through the background if you have like top secret clearance in the military. No, it's
Yeah,
not any easier.
yeah,
We got to do our own backgrounds. Nothing makes it any easier. Nothing out there is going to make things easier. If you're a lateral officer, it makes it harder for the background investigator when you're a lateral officer. More to check. So,
yeah. Let's get these last two questions.
all right.
Can I apply to multiple agencies? What say you, Donovan?
I say yes. And nowadays it's so easy to apply to multiple agencies. Is it a pain in the butt for us? It absolutely is. Um, Make sure you're applying to agencies you want to work at. Don't just shotgun out to every agency that, asks you to apply. Make sure they're agencies you want to work at. Know, what your order of interest is on them. And be upfront with everyone. Don't play the games of, oh, I want to work for you, and then get a job offer from one agency, but then someone comes to you and says, oh, we'll give you a job offer, and then turn the other agency down. There's too many games going on right now. Be honest, be upfront. If you're going to apply to multiple agencies, Just be honest. And if they're not your first pick and they offer you a job, don't take the job offer unless you want to work there.
Yeah. Um, and I will reemphasize what Donovan said. You can apply at multiple agencies. Background investigators generally don't care, but if you have 30 applications on your PHS and you haven't been hired, that's a red flag
Mm-hmm.
because the background investigator is going to be concerned that you didn't get hired yet. The other thing is I would strongly caution against is going on to what are these agencies where you can just click off boxes. I'm going to apply to 50 agencies because there's a box. Is that
Was it
NeoGov or
National Testing Network, public safety testing? There's a couple of the other ones who do the nationwide testing, or they test for regions in the country. Yeah, don't just start clicking those off.
no?
Especially some of those, they'll say, "Oh, if this agency pays for it, will you click it?" Don't just click it because it's going to be a free test for you, a free place to put your score.
Yeah,
Know the agency, know you want to work there before you do it.
I would I would say that what's a good number? I would say
No more than
maybe
five.
yeah, 5 or 6 at the most,
Yep.
guys. If you go with 5 or 6 and you're not getting hired or you're having problems with your background, don't start having a crap ton of, because what they're going to do if you get non-selected 3 times, if you get DQ'd 2 times, you got six applications that didn't go through, and then you've got 25 other applications. The background investigator is going to go, they're not going to care so much that all you did was click a box.
Right.
They're going to care that you didn't get hired yet.
All right. Yep. And if you applied to 30 agencies, don't ask why it's taken so long to get your background done. Because all
Yeah.
30 agencies have to be contacted and they have to respond as to what's going on. So
Okay, that's good. Last question. What makes you trust a candidate? That's an interesting question. What makes you trust a candidate?
oh man, I don't know that I can answer this, Ken. I don't know that I'm always on guard with everyone when it comes to a background process. I don't know that I would say that I ever 100% trust any candidate because again, through the whole entire process, I'm trying to figure out if there's anything going on. I'm not, scared of shadows, but I've got to be on guard through the whole thing. What say
Yeah,
you?
I don't think trust is a good word. I don't think trust is a good word because background investigators, in order to trust you, means that they have a personal stake in your background. And background investigators are really information gatherers.
Mhm.
All they really do is they get information, they translate it, put it into a report. They're machines, and for them to trust you means there has to be a human component where they go, you know what, I just, I just this candidate, I really think whatever personal take you can have on it, but trust is probably too strong a word. I
Yep.
think that I believe in some candidates. I believe they'll be a good cop. I believe that they've done good things, but I wouldn't say so much I would trust someone because of dollars to donuts. I've had candidates where I go, good candidate, this is really good. And then they break my heart because something comes up and um, they absolutely let me down.
Right. Yep. Agree 100%.
Let me get this off of here. Where is it? Oh, let's get these questions. How much scrutiny is placed on candidates uh, that apply for a few departments? Example: applying within the county you live in and nearby city PDs. Full intent of working at the first agency that will hire you, Donovan.
I mean, I wouldn't say there's scrutiny placed on that. If you truly are willing to stand behind that and say, yeah, the first agency that offers you a job, if you're a good candidate, you'll have some background investigators who are going to try to get your background done quickly to be that first one offering you a job. I've done that where I've had a good candidate and worked really fast to get it done. I wouldn't say, I mean, as long, again, if you stay within that like 5 agency number that me and Ken talked about, 5, 6, it shouldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah. What do you think about homegrown candidates? So, like, I'm applying in the city I grew up in. Is that cool?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Chiefs love it. You know, they love it because then it's a story that they can tell the people, hey, you know, this person grew up and they always want to be a cop here, blah, makes them sound good. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I,
Yeah.
I like
Be-
it.
Better question: is there a concern within the department for loyalty to the department when a candidate applies to multiple agencies? Um, Donovan, I had a candidate call me, this is a true story. The candidate called me and said they were in the application process with two agencies.
Hmm.
One agency, they called the BI and said, "Hey, so anyways, this other BI called me, and they they're working my background or whatever." The BI for the agency that he called and told him that, he
Hmm.
goes, "Well, you need to withdraw from the other agency, or we're not going to work your case." So, to me and Donovan, that's a bunch of crap. But is there a concern for loyalty to the department? You know what? Grown up background investigators, grown up background investigators will tell you, "Oh, you're applying somewhere else. I need to be on my game because I
Hmm.
need to snag you before this other agency gets done."
Right. But again, we talked about this earlier. I always say be 100% upfront and don't play games because real life example, I had a candidate, he was offered a job. He accepted our job offer because he said, "Oh, you're the agency I want to work for." Accepted our job offer. And then no more than 2 days later, calls me up and said, "Hey, I got a job offer from this agency. I'm going to go with it. I'm actually going to decline taking your job offer." My chief called the other chief and said, "Hey, this is what's going on." He said he wanted to work here. We were number one agency. He's like, "Well, he told me it was number one agency." And they said, "Oh, there's an integrity issue here." He lost out on both jobs.
Yeah.
Don't play games. If you say you're going to work for that agency, work for them, give them a chance. I always tell chiefs when I'm talking with them, if you get 2 years out of them and they stay, they may be a candidate that's going to last for quite a while. If they move to another
Yeah.
agency, they move to another agency. But just don't play games. Don't play games. There's a lot of money on the line that you don't know. Some states now are actually allowing agencies to go back and charge the candidates for some of the testing that they're going through if they actually decline a job offer. So
Yeah. And I think the bottom line for me is, as a longtime background investigator, I don't care. I could care less if you're in backgrounds with somebody else. That puts
right.
me on my game.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if you're a good candidate, I'm gonna fast track you if I can and do the calls and get it done and go, "Hey, so what's up?" Because I've either snatched candidates from other BIs or they've
Hmm.
snatched them from me.
Yep.
But it's not that they're going to get pissed off and go, "Ah, dang, got what do you call it, end run by some other agency."
Right.
You know,
Oh, I've done
um,
that.
my current agency wanted to pick me up before LAPD gave me my job offer, and I'm guessing
Oh,
that is why they did. Yeah,
yep. That's probably why.
yeah. There's
Yep.
no a smart background investigator is going to be like, "Dang, I need to get on this, and
Yep.
I'm gonna do this thing here." And they'll even some background investigator. I'll work with them to help me do this. Help
Hmm.
me do this.
Yep.
Um, let's see here. Oh wow, yeah, no games to be played with the agencies. I'd be up front for my ranking on the agencies I applied to. This is important, guys, because um, I can't tell you how many times I've talked to candidates and they go, "Yeah, I got called by this agency and they offered me a job, but I don't really want to work for them."
Hmm.
I'm like, "What are you gonna do, man? You shouldn't have applied for them."
Right. Yeah. Why are you applying to them if you didn't want to work for them? You're wasting everyone's time, everyone's money. So
Yeah. If you guys, these questions are great. We appreciate you guys. I love the live questions
yes.
because we can answer you guys right then and there. It's like having a background investigator in your pocket. You go, "Hey, Donovan,
Hmm.
what do you got on this answer?" We're here every Monday for the most part. We do these lives because, as I've explained before, the reason we do lives is to answer questions on the fly. And the other thing is because I'm too lazy to download and edit and then upload them back to YouTube.
Yep.
When we get
Works
done,
perfect.
you can go back to this episode as soon as we get done and go and review every question or whatever we're talking about. So thank you guys, and we're also growing pretty good. We're getting some good views after,
Good.
and there's a few questions every now and then.
Yep.
I feel like we're
And
answering them.
and if you have ideas on what you want us to talk about for an episode, put it in the comments. We'll get to it. We'll do it. We'll do a whole episode on it if we
Yeah,
can.
and we're not one of those big production houses where we've got months ahead. If you got a hold of us, and you said, "Hey, can you do an episode on this, Ben?" There's a real good possibility that you'll see the episode up next week.
Hmm.
We're that much.
Yep.
How much time is good enough for financial issues, poor credit rating, or collections, but have been resolved and are being paid on time?
That's a loaded question because again, it's what were your financial issues? How much money was in collections? How long did it take for you to start resolving and getting paid? I mean, I've had people come in and, oh, I made arrangements last week on this account that was in collections for 3 years. Well, now you're just doing it because you're in my background process.
Yeah,
It's
that's the only
not
reason.
so. If it's something that you've been working on for a while and you're showing that maturity, you have a better chance of making it through. That's a tough question to answer without the credit report in front of us and knowing all the information. That's my take on it, at least.
Yeah, and the poor credit rating thing, the credit reports that BIs get are different from what you're going to see
Right.
on your. If you go to one of the websites for the credit reports, they're going to get a different report where they'll go, "This is your FICO score," and all that. BIs don't get that information. It's called a consumer report,
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, because it's
stuff
a,
like
it's a
that.
it's a soft pull, so we don't get a lot. We don't get the credit rating or the credit rating
Yeah, we didn't get the
score.
credit ratings, and the only things that they'll get are going to be mostly they're going to be concerned with collections, judgments, and
Yep,
tax liens, things like that.
and payment history on credit cards and loans.
Yeah, the credit stuff is interesting because on those reports they do have lates. I've
Hmm.
never gotten I've never gotten been out of shape about, oh, you were 30 days late here or you were late here, and I don't really care about that. What I care about is if you're current on your finances, and if you have current collections. I don't know any agencies, and Donovan, you can get me up to speed on this, but I don't know any agencies that's going to actively hire somebody who has a collection now.
That they're not working the payoff.
Correct.
Yes. If it's an open collection that they're not looking to resolve at all, then yeah, you're gonna have a hard time. Usually the only one is if you have a dispute with like a medical, something from collections that's a medical bill or something. A lot of times there's ways around that, but
Right. And those are the exceptions. Bad credit or late payment collections after significant family hardship or divorce. Yeah, that's a big deal.
it is a big deal. And unfortunately, I mean, those are tough. If you had a divorce and the other significant person owns the credit, they've developed all the problems with your collections or whatever, but you're still on it. You're caught in a bad spot there because I mean, we have to look at what's in front of us, get some of the story, but again, you owe that credit, so it's gonna be a hard thing to get by.
Yeah, just don't be in collections right
Right?
now.
Yep. Don't be in collections.
And the thing about it, it's not a deal breaker. Most agencies will go, okay, you're out of collections. Come on,
Yep.
you know. Um,
Or
and
you're making
so,
payments. Get any documentation on payments you're making, as far as get the agreement between you and the debt collector and how many payments you've made, how much more you have to go, all that kind of stuff to show that you're doing what you need to do to make it right.
right. And so, credit is one of those things where it's usually pretty cut and dry. You're either in collections, you're not in collections. Um, Let me see. So, and yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Yep.
You'd be surprised because we actually answer questions multiple times because people ask them during
Hmm.
one interview, but I mean, one episode, but we may have answered it 4 weeks ago. We don't mind answering questions that have been asked before simply because not everybody's going to go to an episode and go, let me listen to every single episode they did because the one question I have may be in there. Oh,
Right.
you can ask away. we're always happy to help you. Also, I do want to mention that you can get a hold of me. I erased it from the thing and haven't put it back up yet.
Ken.
Well, let me hang on. Hang on, guys. I'm going to show you something here. Okay. Well, no, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put up our websites because I took it. I don't even know why I erased it at some point. And let me see. Prep.
While you're doing that, I'll answer this question. So, do most BIs interview immediate family or household members? Surprise visits to the residence? Yeah, anticipate that family members are going to be interviewed, especially significant others. Any roommates, anything like that. We need to get a good feel for who you are as a person. They're the ones who are going to be able to tell us. I would always anticipate if you are married. I always go to the mother-in-law. It doesn't matter if it's male or female, whoever's married. I always go to the mother-in-law because who's more protective than Mama Bear? So they normally give me the scoop on everything. Surprise visits to residences. BIs do that differently. Some BIs will schedule appointments to go to the residence. Some BIs just pop in because they want to meet the neighbors, that kind of stuff. So that'll be one of those things that a BI will tell you what's going on with that.
Oh, wait, that's wrong. On the wrong
What is going on here, Ken?
Oh my gosh.
Looks like I'm running production right now.
You already got this one. That's the one you answered, right?
Got that.
Okay.
Yep.
But otherwise, you guys, you can get a hold of us at policebackground.net. That's where you can get a hold of me. There's contact forms on our websites, prepforduty.com. I do background investigation prep for you if you want to see if your chances of having a good time in backgrounds. Donovan also does oral interview prep and consultations for that. And also, as always, you can we have books. If you guys look, this is a one-stop shop for everything you need.
I know, right?
Background investigations. Mastering the Police interview. Donovan has a workbook and an ebook. Also, he does in-person, virtual, in studio.
In person over the internet.
In person over the internet, just like this, except you get to talk to Donovan. I also have a book about background. If you want to know anything about background investigations, all the stuff we cover, plus a lot more, my ebook is Police Background Investigations. And you can get them both on our websites as well. So do we have any more questions? No, we don't. We hope we're helping you guys. And, I was going to leave my book up. No. Let's take that. Where is it? Oh, there we go. So if you guys have any questions for us, let us know. We're always here to help you and everything. Policebackground.net, prepforduty.com as well. And you can contact us and we'll get back with you. So Donovan, do you have anything else?
Got nothing else. It's a lot of fun. Keep the questions rolling in.
Yeah. And if you guys happen to see Rob, let us know.
Yeah. We don't know where he is.
He didn't show up today, so we don't know where he's at. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. We will talk to you later.